Well,
So,
let me actually address the price gouging question as well. Although some of the proposals that Vice President Harris is offering, this is one of them that I think is sort of a loser out of the gate, Arthel. I mean, it is price controls historically have never been successful, and they generally, end up in supply issues as well as competitive issues for businesses. A lot of grocery stores, that's who she's focusing on, operate on very, very low margins. So controlling, the prices that they can charge, and food manufacturers as well, I think won't have a very good effect. Plus, I think realistically, Arthel, I mean, to implement something like this, besides the political wins she will have, it would take a long time. It'd be very complex. Enforcing it is very tough as well. I think really it's just a statement against inflation is what she's making. I don't see this as something realistic that's going to happen.
okay, let's move on to her proposal of $25,000 grant for first-time home buyers. Talk about the impact on the real estate market for buyers and sellers, Gene.
See, this one I like a lot. And one thing I've learned over the past 20 years that I've been doing this, Arthel, is that the real estate industry itself is a giant industry, one of the biggest in the country, and it has an indirect impact. Right now, housing affordability is at an all-time low. Housing prices are at an all-time high. Inventories are at an all-time low. Now, I realize lowering interest rates will have a big impact, particularly, obviously, mortgage rates as well. But it's tough for homeowners to buy a house, and giving first-time buyers, a bump or a boost from the government not only will help them, but also will have, I think, a dramatic impact on the industry as well, and all the indirect businesses that support that industry. My only concern, of course, is the cost. How will this be paid for? What is the return on investment? But other than that, it's the kind of thing I like to see.
Well, I'm sure she will get a chance to expound on that in the debate. She's also offering tax incentives for developers to build 3 million new homes across the country for first-time home buyers. Now, how will this impact the overall economy if you've got more people buying into, owning their own home?
Sure. I mean, well, again, the construction industry itself contributes billions of dollars to GDP. We do have a housing shortage around the country. There is a need for more houses as well. For the government, that's what governments do. I mean, they do step in and they do support certain industries. I know home builders themselves struggle with high costs of their materials. Their biggest issue, though, that I get from my clients, though, Arthel, is not just the materials cost, but labor as well. So, if you really want to help the home building industry, I think proposals to reform immigration, for example, and making it less costly to, find and also retain employees, limiting some of the regulations on the smaller home builders, I think would have a big impact. But
is supply chain still an issue?
I'm sorry, supply chain remains an issue right now, but clearly not as big as it was just a couple of years ago. But you know what happens? People in that industry are subject to supply chain issues all the time, because they do rely on a lot of supply, particularly lumber and other materials that come from other parts of the world. So it never really goes away. But again, giving that industry a little bit of a boost, with some funding, it's no different than giving manufacturers and chip makers a boost as well. I think if done the right way, it could work. But again, that's something that we'll have to see.
Okay, well, we will be watching. We'll watch in the debates and whatever interviews the vice president has coming up. So thank you. We got the audio fixed and everything. It's all good.
Thank you, Arthel.
It's all good, Gene Marks. We'll have you on again. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back with a lot more right here on Fox News Live.